adventurers, welcome to this Geas quest. Today I'm gonna discuss an interesting topic with you. It was requested by a Patreon producer. Hybrid classes. Now, hybrid classes is a concept that was introduced in Pathfinder's Advanced Class Guide. And the idea is it combines aspects of two classes to create a new one. Now, honestly, I believe it's a more balanced concept to the Gestalt system from 3rd edition, so Unearthed Arcana. Oh, there we go, haha. See, in this book, Unearthed Arcana, there was a system introduced called Gestalt, where you take two classes and you literally combine them. You get all the special abilities from both classes, you pick the best saves from both classes, you pick the best hit die from both classes, you get the best skill points from both classes, you get all the class skills from both classes, and the better base attack bonus. So, as you can imagine, it can make for truly broken characters. However, action economy is always an issue with these guys. Now, I've actually run one Pathfinder game with Gestalt characters. That was before the hybrid classes came out. It was a very fun game, I remember that. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a bit meat grindy in the sense that a lot of characters died. And they were falling like bricks. Sorry, Mega Man fell. Now he's trying to do the limbo here. Mega Man, what are you doing? There we go. Now, a couple of players, well, not a couple of players, one player wasn't too satisfied with the game because sadly he was the one that died the most. Things that happen, you know, the dice will fall where they fall. That's just about it. But I did tell all the players that it was going to be a very, very difficult game because they were going to be around 3 to 4 players and they were all Gestalt, so there was a lot of firepower going around. Now, when hybrid classes were actually announced, me and some friends, we thought it was gonna be something similar to Gestalt. So, hybrid classes, combination of two classes, and we're like, so hybrid is Pathfinder's Gestalt system, maybe? And we are actually very glad that it was not. I honestly don't like Gestalt. I don't like Gestalt games. I know a lot of people enjoy them and more power to them. But it's not really my cup of tea. It can just get a little bit too ridiculous at times. And nowadays, I prefer simplicity when creating characters and picking classes. I don't enjoy having too much in my plate. Now, something that always struck me as interesting is the Magus class is my favorite Pathfinder class. Came out way before the hybrids came out. But to me, honestly, the Magus is almost like its own hybrid. It's almost like a hybrid of fighter wizard. If you really think about it, it's basically what it is. So I actually consider, you know, the Magus a hybrid class in and of itself. So the hybrid class system as a whole, I actually do like. It can have some superfluous combinations. We'll get into that soon. But it's more options, and more options is always fun. Alright, so as a player, it gives me so many new options to play around since each hybrid class also has its own archetypes. And they tend to have a lot of archetypes. We're talking about every hybrid class easily has over 5 archetypes. That's, you know, Pathfinder official. We're not counting third-party supplements. And then, you know, the numbers would skyrocket. As a game master, I like it because it lets me add variety to my encounters. An Orc Barbarian is one thing. You know, an Orc Barbarian, you fight Orc Barbarians all the freaking time. However, an Orc Blood Rager, I could be describing, oh yeah, the Orc War Chief, he grows into a rage. I was like, okay, he's a Barbarian. And then he casts Fireball at you. You know, it has a different impact when things like that happen. It can actually make for memorable encounters. The Blood Rager is a Barbarian Sorcerer hybrid, for those of you that don't know. Now, as a game designer, I utterly love the hybrid systems is it opens a window for crazy class combinations whenever you're creating them. I've made, of course, the Magus Sorcerer hybrid. Basically, it's a Magus that uses spontaneous spellcasting, but he gets bloodlines. It's similar to the Eldritch Scion that Pathfinder created, though I created mine a couple of months before they released theirs, even on playtest. So that was interesting. Great minds think alike, I guess. Though I've been actually told that mine is a lot better, so you could check that one out in my Drive-Thru RPG. It's completely free. Pay what you want. Okay, so and I was actually in the process of making a hybrid ranger witch, where your animal companion is basically the one that gives you your spells and things like that. Now, I can only imagine the crazy combination you can actually come up with. I've seen a couple of interesting ones. Spiritualist Bard was a very interesting one. Kineticist Alchemist was another very interesting one. Those two are by Werewolf Rogues Publishing. I actually reviewed them in a casting of Analyzed Dwemer, if you want to check those out in my channel, right here in YouTube. Let's see, or vid.me, if I upload this to vid.me, which I probably will. Now, let's see, combinations that I would like to see eventually. Barbarian Monk. You go into rage and you get extra attacks. I believe there's one like that already. It's a very cool concept. Barbarian Kineticist. Elemental Rage. That could be really, that could be really cool. I don't know where my mouth is today. Occultist Oracle. Crazy person with powers. Mesmerist Cavalier. That's a weird one, huh? What about if you get an ability that you can mesmerize regular animals and turn them into your mount? Interesting. Summoner Kineticist. You can summon elementals and bind them to yourself. That actually sounds pretty kick-ass. I might actually make that one. Summoner Kineticist, and you can summon elementals and bind them to yourself. That sounds pretty damn cool. There's one I actually thought about today that I actually want to sit down and start designing this one as well. Psychic Warrior. I don't know what I'm going to call it. I'm not going to call it a Psychic Warrior because that sounds stupid. I'll think what else I could call it. But I was thinking about a couple of things I could do with that guy. And actually, I actually thought about 2 archetypes. I've never been really good with archetypes, to be quite honest. I'm decent at class design, but at archetypes I'm not that good. But I actually thought of 2 archetypes for that guy, so you might be seeing that one eventually. And one I thought about, but I liked it because of the name I thought for it. Bard Inquisitor. If you think about it, that one actually makes sense if you combine them. And I would call it the Accuser. So I think it's a really cool name, the Accuser. The Accuser base class, the Accuser hybrid class. What's a hybrid with? Bard Inquisitor. He shuns you if you take damage. So yeah, basically the combinations are limitless. Cause okay, this is a recommendation for third-party publishers out there. If you are designing a hybrid class and you notice that another third-party publisher already did it, go ahead with your design. Just say, for example, I have the Soberer, who is a Magus Sorcerer, and you want to make something that's also a Magus Sorcerer. Just if you want to avoid people like, oh, that's like that, or someone already made it, you say, no, mine is not a Magus Sorcerer hybrid, mine is a Sorcerer Magus hybrid. Because the way I see it, the first class is the one that the hybrid class takes most out from. At least that's the way I see it. Things to consider. Don't stop designing just because somebody else made it before you. You could probably make something completely different. So just try it. Let's see. Some hybrids, like I said before, can be superfluous. And in the comments that I'm gonna have in this video, you're gonna notice a lot. The War Priest, for example. Because with the War Priest, honestly, I like it. I have not played it yet, but I want to play a War Priest eventually. But a lot of people say, why not just play a paladin? Or, of course, why not just play a cleric, which is, arguably the best class in the game. I'm not big into spellcasting, though. I'm more of a martial kind of guy, if you know what I mean. Some hybrids can also be confusing, like the shaman, with all the spirits and the wandering spirits and the wandering hexes and your mother. I sat down and I read it, and when I read it, I told myself, yeah, I could probably make one. And then somebody asked me, can you explain the shaman to me? And I'm like, no, I forgot. I find it confusing. A couple of people I know also find it confusing, so... but it's options. It's more that you can do. A lot of people worry that, Pathfinder releases all these classes and the hybrid classes, and you can make even more hybrid classes, that the game is getting overly saturated. I actually disagree. I think it just gives you a lot more options and more things you can do. The hybrid system honestly was a godsend. It was, maybe someone thought about it before they did. I wouldn't put it past people to think about, let's just combine classes. Let's take the rogue sneak attack and the paladin's mighty... that was pretty broken, but... Let's take the rogue sneak attack and the druid's animal companion and let's merge them together. That could work. Or, let's take the rogue's sneak attack and the ranger's favorite enemy, scale them down a little bit, but let's just put them together. That's basically what the Slayer is. So Slayer's a really good class. And honestly, I don't think that they're broken. I don't think they're broken or overpowered over any other class. I think each class can really stand on its own. And we could even talk about the Unchained versions of some classes, but the Unchained versions of the base versions, I honestly think they can stand by themselves. Because honestly, I think tier lists for the power level of the classes are stupid. Because you make your character. Because also it's dice, so whatever the dice say. Because you can have an overpowered character, and if all you're doing is rolling once, then you rolled once. And if I make a commoner and all I'm rolling are 20s, then tough shit. It's a luck game at the end of the day. But I think the hybrid classes are not hampering the game. I think they are opening a lot more possibilities. I wish Paizo would release some new official Paizo hybrid classes, especially using the occult classes. That'd be pretty fun. Besides that, Starfinder's coming out soon. It'd be interesting to see some hybrid classes for those classes as well. Now, one issue I do have with the hybrid classes is that they can be daunting. I would not recommend them for new players. They are not noob friendly, so to speak, because a lot of them have a lot of class features. And juggling so many options, bonuses, and penalties can be overwhelming. Even for experienced players. I know some experienced players that they cannot play games that give you too many options. You get overwhelmed and it's like, I don't know what to do. It's too much. So let's go to what other adventurers of ARMR Studios have had to say about hybrid classes. We have one here that says, I like the Slayer since it takes away the things I dislike from the parent classes. Rogues, 2/3 base attack bonus, and Rangers, spells, and animal companion. I'm actually there with him. I don't like the spells that the Ranger gets. I like one that lets you change your favorite enemy, but they should just have that as an innate ability. The others don't really speak to me. The Hunter and War Priest in particular feel like worse druids and clerics. Harsh. That's actually a member from Puerto Rico's Role Players Facebook group that I mentioned before. A whole Puerto Rican group of role players. Now, we have another one here. Looking at them, they look fairly balanced, though I am not a great guy to look for that kind of ruling. This is someone that hasn't really played that much Pathfinder. However, from a flavor perspective, they don't make a great deal of sense to me. And that why call them hybrid classes? Was that just a marketing gimmick? Why can't they just be classes in and of themselves? I agree. I remember I made a class before, the Vindicator. He uses something similar to a Rage, but it's named differently and it gives different bonuses. And someone was telling me, why not just make this an alternate Barbarian class? And I told him, you know what? Semantics. It's the same thing at the end of the day. Also, War Priest confuses me because why not just roll a Paladin at that point? I agree with him there. Now we have two people that believe that they're a bit superfluous. Oh, three with me. I also feel that the Hunter's a bit unnecessary. And another person that doesn't like the Hunter that much. But I do like the idea of a Scald. The Scald is a very kick-ass class. And if the Bard's bonus and the Scald's bonus actually do stack, so if you have a Bard and a Scald in a group, you will kick so many types of kick so many types of ass. That's what I wanted to say. That's Mr. White. He's a YouTuber. I'll actually have his link down below as soon as I find him on the Discord channel that I'm subscribed to and he connects. It is a spended system, said Aaron Hollingsworth, the writer that has actually been I am blanking on the words today. Well, we've mentioned him before in previous Analyzed Dwemer's. Woof, it's late. We've actually mentioned him before in Analyzed Dwemer, and we actually had some of the things he has written. I asked him, is it a pun? And he says, why you ask? Well, it's a spended system. So I'm imagining he says it's a splendid system. He has written a bunch of hybrid classes already. He's actually, the moment of this recording, he's working on a monk sorcerer hybrid, so that's probably gonna be very interesting. And also spend it because I said, it works as a pun because third-party publishers do spend money to pay you guys to make them, and it's like, yes they do. Now let's see, we have another one here. If the class is done well and offers something a bit unique on its own, then I think it's cool. I'm gonna go back to that eventually. If it feels like someone just bashed two classes together, then not so much. In some respects, I see it as Paizo's attempt to offer Gestalt rules while trying to find some balance compared to other existing classes. That's John Bickley from the Naughty Works, actually. They have been featured. That's the word I wanted to say before. They have actually been featured in Analyzed Dwemer before. And I agree with him. I'm actually surprised that he thought about this was like Paizo's version of the Gestalt rules. I haven't read these beforehand. If the classes are done well and offer something a bit unique on its own, then I think it's cool. I agree. Besides them having their own, besides them having shticks from different classes, they should have their own shtick. It really brings the class together and doesn't make it feel like, every even number level you get rogue base attack. Every even level you get a fighter bonus feat, and every odd level you get sneak attack. And boom, hybrid class. It's not to feel like that. So I do like his point of view, and I agree with it. It's actually very similar to my point of view. And it's something that other third-party publishers and writers should really think about when you're making a hybrid class. Your hybrid class should have something a bit unique on its own and not just, two classes and let's see what happens. Give it something unique. Now, let's see. Here we have a really long one. So this was gonna take me a while. We're already at the 20-minute mark. And this one's gonna probably push me all the way back to 25 minutes. So bear with me, please. This one's a doozy. This is the last one I have. Actually, a page and a half from the Word document I have in front of me. Blood Raider needs clarification on what his caster level is. Personally, I love what they did with the medium in Occult Adventures, I guess. gave encounters so he has a caster level starting with level 1 instead of the Paladin Ranger thing where you have to subtract to calculate your caster level. That aside, the Blood Ranger looks pretty rad as a class. That is something I actually did do for one of the classes I was designing a while back. It got spells at level 4, not leveled spells at level 4, but actually got cantrips at level 1. So again, great minds think alike. Too bad I didn't release mine when I could have. Still in development. So slow. Um, so this guy also says, every time I read the War Priest, I keep trying to come up with a reason to play them instead of a cleric. So we're seeing that a lot of people feel this way with this class. Inquisitor or Paladin, I forgot about the Inquisitor. I'm not really sure who this class appeals. I'm not really sure. A couple of grammatical errors. I'm not really sure who this class appeals to. It has me stumped. Brawler seems to be a pretty kick-ass alternative to the monk. No magic except learning combat feats on the fly. Change your combat style, make combat styles pretty versatile. It does. Though it's a very daunting class to play because you have to keep in mind I can change my feats and then, oh crap, I could use this feat now. But pretty cool. Shaman allows a lot of customization if you're willing to be patient and read a lot. Yes. Again, with the wandering spirits and all the spirits and your mother thrown in. Daunting. If there's someone pissing you off, if you can kill it with more determination than a slayer. Whether wearing the lightest of armor to suddenly step behind an opponent or stepping up to him in heavier metal and shoving a sword in his face. Slayers do not let you down. Favorite enemy, whoever pisses me off, is a great ability. And you can use it subtly in social situations and get social boosts as well. This guy I know, he played a Slayer in one of the last few campaigns that he played in. It's one of my players. Sorry. Now, let's see. It continues on. He actually made a rundown of almost every single hybrid class. I love the arcane spells. Preparation becomes spells known. I love the exploits. There's a lot of options and a lot of little abilities. I love how you can ignore the options and just use the points to boost your spells. It really pisses me off that they are one level behind a wizard as to when the higher level spells become available. It's minor, but it bugs me. And I understand why they did it, because if they would level up their spells as a wizard, no reason to play a wizard after that. Hunter isn't really my thing, but I appreciate what it does. You are a mini party. You get teamwork feats. Your pet gets teamwork feats. You can shift. Your pick can shift. You can coordinate tactics with yourself and fight whoever you want with either a flanking buddy, someone that always fights adjacent, or a dedicated wall while you turn targets into pincushions. So one person has something nice to say about the Hunter. Skull can be a better bard than the bard in the right party. Bards have good buffs. Bards can heal. Bards can fight. The Skull shines in a party where more party members can benefit from him. A Skull can grant our bearing even more rage powers, can rage buff the Cavalier's mount, can rage buff the Rogue as long as he's not built around fainting. Fun stuff. There's a relatively low level rage power called Unexpected Strike, once per rage, not day. When an enemy moves into a square you threaten, he provokes. Every single time you fight, there's a free attack when the enemy decides to move and try to hit you, which resolves first. So that's one of the things that the Skull can grant. Swashbucklers to play Jack Sparrow or Orlando Bloom from Pirates. The less good pirates. If you're... When he says the less good pirates, he means, you know, like... The Pirates porno movie is, of course, his favorite. Yeah. If you're playing like a real good Pirates movie, then you're more like Jules or Stagnetti. If you caught that reference, let me know in the comment section below. Investigator, he believes is a bad name. Confuses players, me included, as to what this class is. It should have been named Detective, Sleuth, or hey, you want to play a mix of Robert Downey Jr. and Benedict Cumberbatch playing Sherlock Holmes? This would have helped me realize what this class is supposed to do. You're kooky, crazy, and brilliant. You got weird science and tonics that you drink. You're a genius, and your studies and anatomy teach you how to kill. And he ends with saying, to reenact the Downey Holmes movie, one PC plays an investigator, another PC can be a slayer, with the heal skill, someone else can play a full rogue or something. And that was my good friend Paladin. You might know him from the Trying to Stay on Topic channel that we have together, where we talk about random things that whatever pops into our minds. Um, and that was it for the hybrid classes. If you have your own opinion on hybrid classes, please let me know in the comment section below. Start a discussion. I'll probably get in on it as well, so we can grow as a community. This was fun. This was my first Patreon patron. Excuse me while I think about the word I'm trying to think about. The first patron produced video that I made, so thanks for that. And I'll see you guys next time on the next Geas quest or whatever video I make. Until then, remember rule number 1, always have fun. Like what you saw today? Remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you don't, it might get pitch black, and you are likely to be eaten by a grue.